What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another video. And today we will be getting into the Housewives of Atlanta episode that aired yesterday. And Portia. You need to just get over it at this point. I am sick and tired. And if I have to hear one more time with Drew and Dennis of it all, I cannot anymore listen to the same thing when it comes on to you and Dennis. Like, this storyline does not make any sense. I need to hear we're on episode 9 and we're going into the mid season, and I'm still not hearing anything regarding you and Simon. And I don't know because if you're not able to speak about it, but then say so. Because this storyline about Dennis filming and you finding out that Dennis is filming, like, it just does not make any sense. And I audience, basically, I'm tired of it at this point. No, we started the episode off where we had Cynthia pretty much being the mediator to find out or to understand what went down in Nashville, because we ended last week where Angela overheard Portia saying some stuff regarding her husband and she pretty much left the trip. And I guess this is what now Cynthia is trying to gather what had happened. And what I observed during this episode is these ladies are gaslighting Angela to make it seem as if her eavesdropping basically on the conversation is the bigger point, and not the point that Portia stating that she will F this girl's husband. Everybody's glazing over that. Everybody's more laser focused on her overhearing what was said. And for ladies, and I see where Angela was coming from, for ladies who are married, for example, Shamia, for them and Brit, for them to basically make it seem like it was all fun and games, and why is Angela so pressed and why was she listening, to make it seem like it's not a big deal what she said, and the bigger deal is the fact that Angela overheard what was being said. Oh my god. Now, we saw where Cynthia met up with Shamia and Kelly. Of course, this is where we had the scene where we saw where Shamia stated that Angela sent her a text message pretty much saying that, rightfully so, for her to be a married lady and was not able to stop her friend. She was laughing with this, what Portia basically said or allegedly said. For her to be laughing at that and did not state anything, Angela was highly, rightfully so, felt like this doesn't seem like an actual friendship, and pretty much trying to end that friendship regarding her and Mia, because for her to have her friends stating stuff like that and she necessarily did not defend her, she more was laughing at the situation. And I'm sure if it was happening to Shamia, she would not feel okay if other ladies who were married in the group and someone said that about her husband. I'm sure she herself would pretty much feel like, what is so funny about this? And for her to not see the point that Angela was trying to make, but trying to make it about herself and that she's not all of a sudden, you're no longer Portia's defense and you're trying to stay out of it for something where you should definitely butt in. You want to stay out of it because you're not Portia's defense dog or lap dog or whatever it is. But we see you barking in the mid-season trailer when these ladies are saying that you're Portia's lapdog. So I don't see where you just pick and choose which sides you want to defend and when you want to speak up. Doesn't make sense. Now, of course, we got to where Portia and Cynthia were talking. We saw where Portia also denied making those inappropriate comments. And of course, doubling, basically acting as if the bigger thing about the situation is that Angela was listening to them through the window, and she went downstairs and confronted them. And that was what everybody is getting from the situation. Not the fact that Portia said something that is vile. It's more about her listening in on what the conversation was. And these ladies, like, You guys choose when you want to be angry, when you want to be mad, and stuff in real life, which we should be focusing on. The fact that we know Portia to be someone who sleeps with people's husbands, and for y'all to think that it's not a big deal what she said when we all saw what went down last time when it came on to Fallon on her husband. I don't see how you guys really glazed over her saying this and it's whatever situation at this point. We got where we saw Angela had her sit down with her husband, and of course, he was also, which I like, that he was kind of holding her accountable. He was not sitting there in agreement with everything that she was saying. He was basically saying that her inviting Drew on the trip, and basically how can you invite someone to someone's trip? I like that fact that he kind of held her accountable, and of course, she felt like that he was pretty much on Portia's defense, and of course, this is where she also stated to him that Portia stated that he is easy to fuck and she would f him or whatever the case is, and of course, he flat out denied that he would not mess with Portia. Portia doesn't know him, and rightfully so. There it go. There pretty much that's where that conversation went. Like there's nothing to the conversation. And this is the thing that I like with Charles. He does not necessarily get too riled up when it comes on to these ladies and their conversations. Like he'll listen, but he's not bothered. And I like that he's not easily going off of the handle. I don't know what future episodes as we saw in the trailer, but I like the fact that he's more center and he knows himself and he knows what he's about, and trying to also let his wife aware of not getting so wild up when these ladies say some stuff regarding their marriage, because they know what their marriage is. And that's something that I actually appreciate when it comes on to Charles and especially Angela and her situation. All right, so we did get to the scene where we saw Brit. She was helping her mom pack up. I think her mom was selling the house or moving out of the house. I think this was a house where her dad and the mom spent or whatever. And this scene, I necessarily did not. It felt fake to me. I was watching the scene and I just had a straight face because I felt no emotion. The situation with the sister and then the sister and the mom going at it, it just seemed to me very staged. Like the whole argument to me did not make any sense. It felt forced. The grandmother itself looked like herself did not look like she was let in on the plot for the scene. So the grandmother probably thought this was a real fight, but to me it just felt forced. And each time it seems to me like Brit's reasoning with her and her sisters, each episode it seems like the reasoning changes why they are not close anymore or why there's rift in the family. It just does not make any sense to me, and this is something I'm really getting tired when it comes on to Brits. Like her personal stories don't seem real. It seems like she made up all of this situation with Kenya. She made up all of the situation now regarding her family just to have something going for herself to make her way onto the show, because I do not feel any emotion or anything when it comes on to scenes with Brit. Everything just seems like I'm just talking as loud as I can so I can make the edits and so I can be featured in an episode. I do not get any sort of personal, emotional, nothing from her. And that's what I got from this scene. It was literally nothing. And I was like fast forwarding through the scene at the end of the day because it just felt like forced, didn't feel real, whatever. We saw where Shamia decided to she's doing another surrogacy route, and she met up with a potential surrogate who she wants to, I'm assuming she wants a son, and I think her husband wants a son as well. So she is planning to go through IVF again to do the surrogacy option, and she met up with that person, which kudos to Shamia for trying to expand her family, but hopefully she also takes her health into account and not necessarily just do this to appease the husband, basically. We got Portia, who is hiring an au pair, and she discusses her co-parenting with Dennis. And again, this is where we saw where she decides to ask Dennis regarding that she found out that he is filming with Drew. And again, that's where I am saying I do not understand this storyline, because if Dennis wants to be a music producer and wants to be not known of just hot dogs, I do not see why he would not align himself with someone like Drew. And then, of course, when they're filming, why he wouldn't align himself to be on the show so he can help promote, because the album is good. So I don't see why he wouldn't want that exposure as well. And for Portia to be saying that, oh, using this family as her excuse or way to block him from expanding what he wants to do, it just seems effed up to me. Like, why are you saying that he cannot film with Drew? So he should stall or pause his own business, which I'm sure potentially would help Portia because they have a child together. So I don't see why her talking about and using this family thing as a way not to have him film with Drew. It just does not make any sense to me. And Portia, if you just don't have a storyline or you have nothing going on for you, get off the show or speak about what's actually going on in your current household. Because this thing where you're dragging this thing with you and Drew for the entire season, it just reminds me of previous seasons of Atlanta where I felt like these storylines were forced. And that's what I'm getting when it comes on to Drew, Portia, and the whole Dennis of it all. I don't get it. I don't see the big deal. The fact that we have to be waiting until the other half of the season to finally get a sit down between Drew and Portia, because Portia kept running from the conversation because she wants to drag this shit out for the entire season. It just does not make sense to me. And I would love for this to be wrapped up by next week's episode, because I don't understand the point of why this has to be on the 9th episode and we're still talking about this. There is no resolution, there is no movement in this storyline, and I don't see why are we at episode 9 still talking about Drew filming with Dennis. Yes, we get it. She's filming with him. Why are we still talking about it at this point? I don't get it. We saw where Cynthia stated that she's holding a Juneteenth Bailey Q, her famous Bailey Q, which always seems to have drama. And she was holding it at her late Bailey house, and the ladies arrived. Of course, she said she'll have a prophet there who would read. And this is the scene that I enjoyed, where we saw Britt and Angela getting into it. And Brit, as I said, just always wants some sort of confrontation. She loves to get up out of her seat and then cry victim whenever someone comes at her. The fact that she started with Angela, and then when Angela read her, she's basically saying that she thought she and Angela were good. They went on a walk, which more like the producers set up. You really did not care much about Angela to act as if like you guys were now potentially building a friendship. So the way how you came at her in Nashville, I know you coming at her. I don't know why you thought that you and Angela were building a friendship when you were pretty much kissing Portia's ass in Nashville when it came on to Angela. And at the pool as well, discussing her as well. So I don't see why you feel like you should say what you want to say, but you're trying to control the way how persons respond to you. And this is where we saw where Angela rightfully said the stretch marks around her mouth and she has miles on her mouth. And I'm sure Brit was gagged because she literally had no comeback at that point. And then she starts to get up out of her seat. And of course, we saw where we have to have Cynthia pulling her back down. The same Cynthia that loves to defend Brit, and how Brit is pretty much was an innocent bystander when it came on to the Kenya of it all. We saw where she pretty much have to be defending or pulling back Brit basically because Brit decided to get up out of her seat. We had Angela sitting down, calmly reading Brit for filth, but we have to have Brit getting up again. And this is why Brit does not make sense to the show. Because each time she gets in a confrontation with these ladies, she feels as if she needs to get up out of her seat. She needs to elevate her voice. She needs to start going to her love and hip hop behavior. And I don't know, like wrong show, like go somewhere else with that behavior. You cannot sit calmly and have a conversation. You like to start with people, and then whenever someone starts back or responds, you start to get very aggressive when it comes on to your response to these ladies. So why do you think you are able to say what you want to say? And I'm pretty sure this is how she behaves with her family and her sisters. She say what she wants to say, and then when they respond, she cries victim. And that's something I'm trying to understand. Why does Brit think that this is something she needs to constantly behave this way and then expect that no one should have a rebuttal or anything when it comes on to her? Now, the sit down that we had with PORSHA and Angela, no accountability. Angela, to me, seemed like she was more interested in trying to resolve it, but we had PORSHA there trying to blame everything on the alcohol, trying to pretend as if like the bigger thing is her listening, not taking any accountability, joking the situation, making it seem like it was a joke. And it's not that serious that she said something. And we know, as Angela said in the after show, that PORSHA sleeps with people's husbands allegedly for sport. So her basically not taking this conversation seriously, that's what she said, is really quite alarming, because I'm sure if someone did that to her, she would pretty much take that shit seriously. Maybe, maybe not, but maybe she would, just like how she has a big deal when it comes on to Dennis and Drew filming. So from this scene, it just seems like there's going to be more fallout when it comes on to the two of them, because I do not see where PORSHA necessarily was taking this conversation seriously. And then we also had Shamir coming in more concerned about what was sent in the text message and missing the plot of what was really sent. The fact that she cannot understand and see what Angela is saying shows that up here in Shamir's head, she feels like it was just laughs and giggles when she's not understanding what Angela is trying to say to her. How can you, as a married woman, hear someone say that they will F someone's husband, and we are known, or she is somewhat known, to do stuff like that, and for you to laugh about that situation and felt like you trying to stay out of it and you're not defending her? This is what I think Angela was trying to say to Shamia, but because she's so up Portia's ass, she does not really see what she was basically saying. But that was the episode. We saw the mid-season trailer. Looks quite interesting. Seems again like Phaedra will be coming and doing nothing. But let me know, guys, in the comment section what your thoughts were on the actual episode. Remember, guys, to subscribe and like the video, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, y'all.